So I just want you to understand that whatever the question is, that's what you're defining your variable as. You have to define your variable. That is a Math 1 standard that you can define your variable. And a lot of times you guys will do Delta Math questions and it asks you, what is the variable? And it'll give you a multiple choice array of like 6 things. And all of them kind of make sense, but none of them, there's only one of them that is actually the question. So you need to think about that, okay? So H is the cost per hour. And if I think of this in terms of y equals mx plus b, remember that y is always my total. B is always where I begin, which is the same thing as the initial amount. And M is always attached with the word per. That is important. If you write anything down today, I think that you need to write this down. This is important. And identify it, just like I did. This is really important, okay? So if we get into the habit, Caden, will you please pick your head up or come and stand by me? Because if I ask you again, I'm going to send you down to LC. So do you want to stand by me? Keep your head up, please. So y equals mx plus b. So y is the total. What is the total amount that we spent? Did we underline that? What is the total? Yeah, the total is 91. So I'm going to write 91 right below the word total. 91 equals. Where do you see the word per? Where do you see the word per?
What was the cost?
Per hour. And what are we trying to figure out? The cost per hour. And that's my variable, right? So what's the number of hours? Because they have to match. What's the number of hours? So 8. What am I sticking next to it? What's my variable term? 8H. Yes. 8H. Plus, what is my beginning or my initial amount? 35. Yeah. So whenever you see the word per, that's always going to get attached to your variable, the initial amount, the beginning fee, the startup cost. All of those things mean the y-intercept, okay? That b value. So now we have an equation that we can solve. So I'm going to write this over here for my work. So this is my equation, which is the goal, right? To be able to write an equation, but now we have to solve it. So 91 equals 8 times h plus 35. How am I going to go about solving this? Trying to solve for h. I need to get h all by itself. Zach, pick your head up, please, Zach. And what? Subtract 35. Zach Murray, head up. Let's go. Minus 35 from both sides. Thank you, sir. Minus 35 from both sides. So 91 minus 35 is... It's not 54. It's 56. 56 equals 8 times h. Now what am I going to do? Divide both sides by 8. So when I do that, I find out that h equals what? 7. So the question was, how much did he pay per hour? And the answer is he paid $7 per hour. So in Indiana, you have to pay per hour. Like you rent your kayak or canoe and you pay per hour. Is that how it is here? Do you pay an hourly rate or can you just do a flat rate tour kind of thing?
I think you can do both.
Both?
Like I used to work, it just depends if you wanted like a scenic route. So if you had the tour guide,
Yeah. Then it was
more
just a fee
But if you did it by yourself, then it was per hour.
per
so
hour.
depending which was good.
Okay. So we always raced, right? Because I wanted to save money. If I take all 6 of my kids kayaking, right, or canoeing, that's expensive. So like we would like go as fast as we could, and then when we got done, I could like hardly even put my arms up to drive the car home. I'm like, ugh. But because we had to get done, right? So we had to pay by the hour. All right. Does everyone have that? Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So this next one is kind of a tricky one. This is how they're always going to be set up, this type of question, and it's a profit question. It's a profit question. So I just want to tell you what that means. So can someone tell me what profit is? If you want to make a profit, what does that mean? Deposit? No. Say again. Then real quick.
Make more than what you spend.
Make more than what you spend. Profit means that you want to make more than what you spend. Okay. So the way that you calculate profit is you take your costs, however much it costs you to get started, and you're going to subtract those costs from the money that you earn from your sales. Okay. So the money that you earn from your sales is called revenue. And that's just money earned from selling something. So if we were going to sell t-shirts in this class and we sold them for $15 a piece, whatever we earned from selling those shirts would be our revenue. Okay. But then we'd have to take in consideration what we spent up front, right? Which would be our cost. So profit is the money left over after you pay for all of your costs, right? It's the money left over after you pay for your costs. And that's important to think about because sometimes you have to calculate revenue first, then you have to calculate costs, and then you have to find the profit. So if you just understand what profit means, we should be good. So let's talk about costs. Let's talk about costs. So I'm going to try to figure out what the cost is. That's the amount of money that I spend. It's the money that I spend up front. It's the money that I spend to get my business started. Okay. So last year, a car dealer purchased 4 cars for $5,000 each. And then later in the year, he bought 8 cars for $7,000 each. So I'm going to stop right there. That's all of our costs. So let's think about the things that we can underline. I bought 4 cars for $5,000 each. And I bought 8 cars for $7,000 each. So if I wanted to calculate my cost, how much money did I spend up front? How would I think about that? How much money did I spend up front? Well, I bought 4 cars at, so I'm probably going to what? Yeah, I'm going to multiply those. So sorry about that. I didn't mean to bounce it down. So 4 times the 5,000 plus, I think later in the year, I bought more cars. How many more cars did I buy? I bought 8. And how much did those cost? $7,000 each. So someone do that math in their calculator and tell me what my costs are. What did I have to pay up front to get my business started? Yeah, Adam, do the whole thing. Add the other one in it too. Yeah, I had to pay $76,000 up front to figure out, like, to get my business started. That's a lot of money up front, right? It says that he sold the cars. That's your revenue, the amount of money you make from selling cars. He sold the cars for a total of what? How much money did he make when he sold the cars? Yeah, $126,000. The question is, what is the profit? What is the profit? Well, remember, in order to find the profit, you have to take the revenue minus the cost. So my revenue, 126,000. Yes, Hayden, minus 76,000. That's my profit. And Hayden, you said our profit is how much? 50,000. Is making $50,000 a year good money? Is that good? Yeah, sure it is. $50,000 a year is good, especially if you're single, right? Okay. What are your questions about that? So, what does revenue mean? Someone tell me in their own words, what's revenue? In your own words, what does it mean to have revenue? Yeah, revenue is the money you get from selling stuff. What are costs? Costs are what? The money you spend up front to get started. Okay. The money that you spend up front to get started. Okay. All right. So we're going to do another one that deals with profit. Okay. So I'm going to read the question first. So the French Club wants to make and sell pizzas for a fundraiser. It says it will cost. So this is probably going to be all about our costs. So let's figure out our costs. It's going to cost $250 to rent the pizza equipment to make the pizzas and $2 worth of ingredients for each pizza. So my costs are $250 up front for the pizza oven, the dough roller, all that good stuff. I'm renting that equipment, right? Plus, how much am I paying for each pizza? Yeah, $2. How do I show per pizza? How do I show $2 for each pizza or per pizza? 2P, that means we have to define P. So I'm going to let P equal the number of pizzas. That's just however many pizzas I make. So if I make 100 pizzas, my total costs are going to be what? I'm going to ask you that question. If you make 100 pizzas, what is the cost? Total cost. What is the total cost? Tell me what you did first, Kimber. What did you do first? You took. Yeah, $2 for the ingredients plus the rental fee, right? So we have our rental fee of $250 plus $2 for each pizza. So how much would it cost me to make 100 pizzas? Yeah, it would cost me $450. Does that make sense how the cost works? See or no? See? Yes? Okay. Now let's talk about revenue because we're going to make money from selling our pizzas. We're going to sell our pizzas, and that's our revenue. That's the money that we make from sales. So our revenue. We're going to sell each pizza for what? What are we selling each pizza for? $4.50. So our revenue is going to be $4.50 per pizza. $4.50 P per pizza. Okay. So hang on a second. Shh. So it's asking me, how many pizzas do I need to sell to make a profit of $500? So let's talk about the profit equation again. How do I find my profit? Look above, I highlighted it. How do you find your profit? What do you do to find profit? Say that again, Hayden. It's the revenue minus your costs. Okay. What kind of a profit are we trying to get? At least $500. So $500. I'm going to just start with that. I need to make it, at least $500. So $500 has to equal, what is my revenue? What is it? What is my revenue? It's 450p. Do you guys see that? 450p. My revenue is 4.50p minus my costs. What are my costs? 250 plus 2p. Okay. That's all. Now we have to solve that. We have to solve that to figure out how many pizzas I need to sell. How are we going to do that? Yeah, we have to distribute that negative. And that is probably the most common mistake here is we forget to do that. We forget to distribute that negative. So when I distribute that negative, I have 500 equals 4.50p minus, let's see, 1 times 250 is minus 250 minus negative 1 times 2p is minus 2p. Okay. Tell me what to do next. Okay, so first we should combine like terms, Hayden, and then we'll do what you said, Logan. Combine like terms. What is 450p minus 2p? Yep, so 500 equals 250p minus 250. And then Logan says, you have to get that 250p all by itself, and you do that by adding 250 to both sides. You do that by adding 250 to both sides. So I'm going to kind of draw my work up here. So 500 plus 250 is 750. 750 equals 2.50p. Yeah, we have to divide both sides by the 2.50. Divide this side by 2.50 and divide this side by 2.50. So P equals 300. So I have to sell at least 300 pizzas. 300 pizzas would give me a profit of 500. Anything more than that would give me more profit, but I need at least 500. So if everyone in the school bought a pizza, they'd be fine, right? That's a lot. That is a lot of steps. That is a whole bunch of steps. I would say the cost, profit, revenue questions are probably the most common questions on the Math 1 EOC when it comes to just linear equations, not systems, but linear. We're going to keep practicing those. Okay. So it's really important that you understand what those mean. Profit, it's the amount of money you make after you're done paying for all the stuff. Revenue minus your costs. Revenue minus your costs. Okay. I know that that's a lot, and I apologize, but I just want to make sure that we understand that. So I'm going to do 3 questions on the back side. It's probably going to take us the rest of the I'm just going to go nice and slow. So if it takes us the whole class to get through the last 3, then that's fine. We're just going to take it nice and slow. Does everybody have this written down? Okay. Zach, do you have this, Zach B? Okay. Cece, you got it all, girl? Okay. All right. Percents. Ugh. So we always have questions about something being some percent off or some percent of something. And we struggle because we can't remember how to deal with percents. So today we're just going to read out the problem and try to write an equation. Tomorrow we're going to talk about percent off because that's a little bit different, right? So John had 48 candies. He started with 48 pieces of candy. And then it says he ate 2. So what does that look like in terms of math? Yeah, 48 minus 2. So how many pieces of candy does he have now? It's 46. I started these for you, okay? He has 46. Okay, so it says he gave almost 25% of the remaining candies to charity. What does that mean? Well, how many candies do I have left? I have 46, and it means what is 25% of 46? Because I gave that away. I'm giving that away. So, how do we figure out 25% of 46?
Like 46 divided by like 25.
Well, it's multiplying. We're not dividing because that would make it bigger. Of means multiply. So we're going to turn this into a decimal. We're going to turn that into a decimal. And we take a percent and we turn it into a decimal by moving it back 2 places. So 0.25, 0.25 of means multiply. Of means multiply. So 0.25 times 46. What is it? 11.5. And can you give away 11.5 pieces of candy? No. And it says he gave away almost 25%. So that's tricky. That's a tricky word. So does almost mean 25% more than that or less than that? Less. So what whole number piece of candy is less than 11.5? 11. So he had 48 candies to start. He ate 2. And then he had 46. And then he gave 11 of those to charity. So this is what he gave to charity. And this is what he gave to himself. How much candy does he have left? Say it again. 35. We didn't define a variable. We didn't do anything. We just had to think about special words, right? Maybe it's like elaborate chocolate candies from Sweden or something. Who knows? Maybe they're golden like eggs. I don't know. So maybe they're Charlie chocolate Wonka bars. You never know. So 48 minus 2. 2 because that's what he ate. And then we had to calculate almost 25%. This word almost is the tricky part of the question because when you calculate the 25%, you get a decimal. So you have to know that almost is a little less than 25%. And I think that's a horrible question. I do. I just think it's a horrible question because like that's really testing your understanding of English, like what the word almost means in English. That's not a math question, but we're going to practice it because that's how it works. Does that make sense? So look for something like that. When you see the word almost, it means a little less. I'm writing it. Okay. I know that's a tricky one and I'm so sorry about that, but we got to practice it. I hate that question. Makes me want to kick someone, but I won't. Okay. Does everybody have that? Okay. I'm going to wait for you to finish that note, okay? Almost, a little less than, a little bit less than. I'm sure that there's a better way to describe that, but I think a little bit less than makes sense to me. I don't know. Okay. This one is when you have a missing price. So let's see what we did. So Mary spent $48 for shoes. So it looks like she bought some shoes. And they cost $48. This amount was $14 less than, here's the tricky part. This was 14 less than twice of what she spent for a shirt. How much was the shirt? How much was the shirt? What is the question? What is the question? Where do you see the question mark? What is that asking us? How much a shirt is. So Kimber, what variable do you want to represent the cost of a shirt? Pick any variable in the world. I don't care. Okay. So we're going to let Kimber, I'm going to tell you that S is the only variable I never use because my S's look like 5s, but I'm going to use it for you. We're going to let S equal the cost of one shirt. Okay. So let's talk about what happened. So how much money did I spend on my shoes? I spent $48, and it says this was, what is it talking about this? What is this referring to? Yeah, the shoes. So the amount of money that I spend on the shoes means equals. The amount of money that I spend on the shoes equals, so this is where I have to write an expression. How do I show 14 less than twice the shirt? Nope. We have to use a variable. Say again. So let me erase this for a second. How do I show twice? I want to show twice what I spent for the shirt. How do I show that? What's the cost of my shirt? S. So how do I show twice that amount? 2S, or S times 2, yes. 2S. $14 less than the 2S. How do I show that? 14 less than 2S. Minus the 14. That's tough. How could you did minus 14 first, or you did 14 minus?
14
yeah.
minus, yes.
So remember when we did words that, like when we did that whole translating words into math, when we see less than, it doesn't say is less than, it says less than. That's one of those words that you move to the end. You move whatever is before it to the end. You're going to minus that amount. If I have 10 cookies and you have 3 less than me, that's 10 minus 3. Okay? It is a very expensive shirt. Let's calculate this. How much are we spending for one shirt? Okay, so what should I do first? Yeah, we're going to add 14 on both sides. So 48 plus 14 is what, Zach M? You have a calculator. 48 plus 14 is what? Zach B, open your eyes, sit up straight. 62. 62 equals 2S. Now what? CC. Divide by 2 on both sides. Good job. So S, my fancy shirt, is $31. Yeah. For just a plain, like, everyday t-shirt, I think that's expensive. Now, if it's a nice dress shirt that you're wearing with a suit, maybe not. But Mary has expensive taste. Mary spent $31 on one shirt. Hopefully she was spending her own money and not her mom's. Hopefully she was spending her own money and not her mom's money, right? What do you think? You think she was spending her money?
Probably not.
Probably not. That's what I would say. Typically, when mom's buying, they pick the most expensive stuff. And when it's their own money, they're like, oh, I can't spend, I just can't spend that $58. What? I just bought you a $103 pair of shoes, but okay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I would never buy my child $103 pair of shoes unless they were for work. Because that's how they earn their money. And then I would make them pay me back. Okay, are we good with that? Yes?
Looks like you said you still many.
Oh, it's Mary. Sorry. It's not many, it's Mary. Okay. The last type of question that we're going to learn about today is a break even. A break even. And break even questions are tough because in a break even question, the revenue equals the cost. Okay. So someone tell me what revenue is. What do we say revenue was? Okay, this is the money from selling. And it has to equal your cost. And what's cost stand for? The money you spend to make the product or to start your business. Like think about the car guy. We had to spend, how much money did we spend on those cars? We had to spend $76,000, right, to start our car business. So a break even question, and these are real common questions, break even questions ask you to make the revenue, you're going to set the revenue equal to the cost. So let's figure out the cost first. Let's figure out an expression for the cost because that's usually what comes first and then the revenue comes second. So it says a printing machine costs how much money? $450. And it costs, to make a shirt. So the question is asking us how many shirts are we going to need to sell? So let's make our variable not be S. But what variable can represent the number of shirts? Yeah, N. I like that. N equals the number of shirts. So my costs up front, $450. $450 plus, how do I show? Oh no, my pen just died. It's been doing so good. All right, smile, do it. Smile through the pain, smile through the pain. I don't have that icky stylus because I threw it away because it was horrible. Okay, so I have to pay $450 for the printing machine plus $21 per shirt. That's going to be 21 in. Okay, plus 21 in. I'm trying to make that curl around to be a 450, but it's not gonna, it's just that stylus is weird. It's just not gonna write on it right there. I apologize. Okay. What is our revenue? How much money are we selling each shirt for? What is our revenue? Yeah. So we sell the shirts for $30 per shirt, 30 in. And if we want to calculate the break even, that tells us how many shirts we need to sell to break even. What do we do with those two expressions? What does it say to do to them? Yeah, we're going to set them equal to each other. So that means my revenue, 30 in, has to equal the 450 plus the 21 in. So we're trying to figure out how many shirts do we have to sell to just break even, not make a profit, just break even. Madeline, pick your head up. This is important. Okay, so what should I do now? Say again, Cece. Yeah, we're going to subtract 21 in from both sides. Minus 21 in from both sides. So let's see. 30 minus 21 is 9. So I have 9 in equals 450. Divide both sides by 9. So n equals 50. N equals 50. And remember that n is the number of shirts. So we need to sell 50 shirts to break even. That's not a profit. That's just breaking even. Anything more than 50 shirts would be a profit. We just need to sell that to break even. Okay. Thoughts? It's tough, right?